All right, we're back for another episode of Behind the Anvil. Today we're joined by the Bladed Bear Bar. I screwed that up. Figures. I always mess up at least one or two intros a week. So to do, let's quit yakking here. Let's have you guys take the show and introduce yourselves. Rock paper
I'm
scissors.
Rhiannon Sibley. This is my husband, Johnathan Sibley. We own the Blade Bar in Edam, Texas. We are the Blade Bar TX online, and then Djinn Designs, DJINN Designs on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that.
Yes, all the socials. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I seen you guys had all the snow the other day. You hogging my snow. Rude.
Yes, it
Well, it wasn't snow, but
was ice.
yeah.
Ice, snow. I'll take it all back. Just stand back here. We're dry.
Yeah, take it back.
Yep.
We're not prepared for that kind of weather here.
So tell me a little bit about your guys' shop, how you guys got started, and yeah, just get a brief dive into it.
Um, I got started in knife making, bladesmithing specifically back in the forever ago. When I was like 13, I saw a copy of, I don't remember if it was Blade or Knives Illustrated or what, in a hardware store out in West Texas. We were visiting family, and being a Fairleigh, Texas kid, I was always in love with knives and axes and bows, guns, all manner of weapons and implementia. And saw that copy of the knife magazine, and I was like, wow, those are way cooler than the knives they have down at Howard's. Um, and there's a picture of the guy that made it right next to it. I want to do that, and set about figuring out how to do that. Back in the mid '80s when I started, there were still a lot of knife makers that were not willing to teach, share knowledge, or anything like that. Um,
It was kind of a covenant secret back then, um,
yeah,
from what I
uh,
understand.
there are a lot of what I call trade secret a holes, where they know trade secrets.
Science.
It's science. It's numbers. It's been quantified. We know what's going on. You got no, like Jerry Fisk said, there ain't no secrets in my shop. If you don't know how to do something, I know how to do it. I'll help you figure out how to do it, because me helping you may one day help me,
Exactly.
and it definitely helps everybody else.
You
Yeah.
know, I started after I've been on Forge and Fire. I started doing knife classes, and I had a friend of mine tell me, "You shouldn't do that. You'll make too many competition. Everyone will start making knives." I had like five people in like 8 years that
We
started
do
making knives,
classes
and
all the time.
right.
Yeah.
And I think he's a little scared of competition. I sure in hell ain't, especially in this community. There ain't no competition. It's community. It's family. So
Way it should be.
Right.
And we all make such broadly different stuff. Um, like broadly different stuff. I can sooner know a knife maker from his work than from his face.
same.
Well, and if you're teaching somebody, they're starting at a level below you, you should be continuing to learn.
Right.
So they're going to creep up and maybe they do surpass you, then you get to learn from them.
Right.
But if you're putting in the work for your craft, then you're going to keep advancing and they're not going to be on the same level to be competition.
Exactly. I like I said, as I looked at him, it says, dude, there's over probably 4,000 bladesmiths in this country. It's kind of slowed down for me a little bit. It's picked last year. It slowed way down where I had to go get another job, but it's picked back up. It's that January kind of drift.
J months suck.
the January dry, which has been okay. It's been all right. I've been thinking about going getting another part-time job. I don't really want to because I don't play with others anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well,
We've had this shop for six,
it's 7 years.
7 years. April will be 7 years. And the idea of going back to work and working with other people, it's not particularly appealing.
Um, I had
What
to last.
Used to working with just what you got there, and
uh,
it's a weird feeling to even think about going back into the normal workforce.
I had to the fall of 2024 because things just hit a wall for me. All of a sudden, it picked up doing real good, and then just hit a wall. And for me, I was bag of mixed emotions like no other. I mean, just kind of just had to bundle up the pride and just go do it, or lose it all. And yeah, it was. Yeah, now look, I'm trying to. I parted ways with the last job in August and been doing all right since. Kind of pivot, doing a little different things, but yeah, like you said, me and you could get the same knife pattern, and but we can. It's going to be more or less the same, but it's going to have your twist on it, and it's going to have my twist
oh,
on it.
absolutely. I mean, two foot. I've got a friend Nathan Corda that I sent two of my Acura blade profiles to.
Ooh, that's
I
sick.
ground I ground the bevels and he did the handles, and he came up with stuff that I never would have done. Like on the spine, I don't know if you can see it. He did like a rock pattern instead of
Oh,
checkered jimping, and
that's cool.
did it on the tail too, I believe. Did it all the way down to here. Can
Yeah.
you see that?
Yes, I can.
All right. And I do some geometric shaped handles, but his his geometric sense is just different than mine.
And I've
And
been
it's
sorry, I
the
didn't mean to
same
interrupt you.
pattern. I ground the blades, but it came out totally different than it would have in my hands.
Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and
Um,
I love it.
but the only thing I kind of get kind of irritated is if people that you know, like somebody gets some steel from someone or something like that, don't give a. And I've seen that on and off growing up. I don't see that much anymore. At least I haven't noticed it. It's like people buying steel from other people and then not giving credit where the steel came from or playing it off like they made it.
Oh,
Stuff like that.
Damascus,
Huh?
like doing Damascus.
Yep, Damascus,
Yeah,
different types of Damascus.
exactly.
I've seen that. My dad's had that issue in the past when I was growing up. I remember that. Um,
Yeah.
but
Well, not giving credit to the engravers or the um, stuff, things like that.
there's
But
certain things I've seen out there. I'm like, I want to try that. I'll message the maker. Hey, do you mind if I try that? I'm going to put my twist on it. And Sean, it was one of the deals. It was an integral guard that he did, and it's like that's going to work out for the blade design I'm trying to come up with. And he says, "Do it." And I saw him pictures of it. He says that looks pretty cool. It was a little bit different from what his was,
yeah,
and but yeah, that's one thing I like about this community and everything else. But let's dive into your shop. Tell us about your shop. What do you guys do there exactly? I got a forge from you guys here, and I finally put it to work here about 3 months ago.
Awesome.
I'm loving the hell out of it. I think I got it a little hot the other day because I took a reading of it. It was like 20, a little over 2,700 degrees in the side. So
they'll
Yeah.
get there.
yeah, I
Yeah,
found that out.
I've been melted a chunk of steel in his forge.
we house Texas Forges here, and that's Jess Stinson who makes them. He's actually back in that room right now, working on some stuff. We do handmade knives. We do a lot of knife sharpening and repairs, custom orders, classes, lots of classes, and like smaller workshops. We've got like a Valentine's Day workshop coming up for couples to come in and do like forge out little interlocking hearts. We do heart keychains and stuff like that. We are widely known for being the no Nazi bullshit shop.
Yep, I was just gonna bring that up. I was just like, it's been about a year since that.
Every shop should be a no Nazi bullshit
I
shop.
agree. I think some of that stuff needs to be put in a museum and left to rot or left to rot elsewhere. But we need to put stuff like that in a museum, in my opinion, so we can recognize what hate is, what disgusting, vile human beings can be,
Right.
not
And
restore
not
it.
and not not glorify.
Exactly.
Using it as an example of what not to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The term from history. So let's dive into that. I got a couple questions. I watched the video. It went everywhere. Everywhere I was looking at, it was popping up.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it got picked up by one of our local news stations out of Salt Lake City and ran one of the news stories that was already done on you guys. Um, tell me about that reaction when you got in there and everything. Like I said, we seen it on the video, and then and you can find that video pretty much anywhere. Just Google that. Um, what was their reaction? I mean, did they get upset? I mean, what? Tell me, walk me through the whole thing.
No, they were they were a little surprised and dismayed that I said no, but I mean, you can see in the video they're like, oh, okay, and just shuffled off real quick, which
That was a large
that
part
was
of why I posted it. Was I think that people need to see that business owners can and should have the right to
Refuse
hold their
service.
morals, and that as the customer, you don't need to make a big fuss. You can just accept the no and walk away. Because if somebody doesn't want to do your project, you don't
really want
you
them
don't
to do
want
it.
them doing it. And I felt like it was a good, solid, positive interaction on both sides.
Hmm.
And so I wanted it shown kind of in that light. And obviously, it's kind of taken on its own life
And I might
on
add,
the
that is the
internet.
most politely I've ever had to.
I was gonna say I've known you for quite a few years, and I've seen you get a little agitated with people at shows. Sometimes they ask really dumb questions, but
I have a real hard time hiding micro expressions and stuff. My mouth may not tell the whole truth, but my face damn sure does.
Yeah.
that was awesome. Yeah, that video, like I said, I think it went worldwide, and
Oh yeah,
It
I
everybody
did.
had
chat.
I had uh, Valhalla Ironworks down in I think he's in Tasmania message me and tell me that I was a hit in Tasmania.
Nice. What was the comments and reaction to that like?
A lot of support, which
Yeah,
overshadowed the minimal hate. There were a few calls that were hateful or slightly threatening. But really, the majority of the response has been overwhelming support for
yeah.
our stance and being willing to take a stance as a small business owner and be willing to jeopardize a little bit of money in order to keep our morals
Yeah.
and our views the way that we felt was right.
And in
Did
the
you?
video, you can see on top of one of the showcases is my grandfather's flag. He fought World War II. All of his brothers fought in World War II. My maternal great grandfather fought in World War II.
Mine too.
Yeah, and yours too.
My grandfather was in the Solomon Islands during World War II as a Navy medic attached to the Marine Corps, aka as they call him,
Go
Doc.
Devil Dogs.
So, yep. Um, and now, correct me if I'm wrong. That was a Hitler Youth knife, correct?
Yeah, two of them.
Um, and if you, I again, I might have my history crossed and such. I think those there was a night called the Night of the Long Knives, and I think that's when they went in and took out what they called the brown shirts back then and such. And you go read that part of history in that. That was some, yeah, that was some tough stuff, and I believe that's what a lot of those knives were used for. Again, I could be wrong, but that's just
Um, the HJK was early in Hitler's reign. He came to the U.S. and part of what his tour was visiting a Boy Scout camp. And in his mind, he saw it as a paramilitary indoctrination organization. So when he went back, that's what he formed was a paramilitary party indoctrination group. And
known as
that's
the
what the
brown
HJK
shirts.
was. Um,
I believe that was the brown shirts, right?
no, the brown shirts were kind of a loose mob of people that would just do his bidding in a
Okay,
whatever violent way
so kind
needed
of
that
like what we're seeing today.
he could kind of yeah.
Okay, I had that mixed up, but continue on there. Let's dive into that a little bit of
Uh,
history.
the HJK was essentially the Boy Scouts, but heavily modeled after the Boy Scouts, not essentially the Boy Scouts, but modeled after the Boy Scouts through the lens that he saw them, which was party line indoctrination and paramilitary training. You know, taking the young children and training them to be loyal soldiers for the party, which is pretty messed up.
Yep.
And so the Hitler Youth knives never actually
Yeah,
went into war.
yeah,
So
Okay.
none of them are like
That
a
I didn't
war trophy.
yeah.
that I
If,
didn't know. So that's one of my questions that
yeah,
popped up in my mind.
if
I
somebody
thought, go
do
ahead.
what?
That corrected a lot of misconceptions in my own brain on what those knives were used for. I thought they were actually used in the part of the Night of the Long Knives, but that's good to know. I'm glad.
How
Good
could I
history.
know it? But I'm not like steeped in all of the minutia of the history, but they were. It was if somebody's calling it a war trophy, you shot a 14-year-old. You know,
That's definitely hopefully those dark times are long gone, but unfortunately humanity.
there's Jess.
Oh, hey, there's that troublemaker.
Hi.
We were just talking about your forges a little bit ago.
Yeah, I need a front door made. I'm tired of moving bricks back and forth.
You would.
Front
It's a
door
front door
mate.
mate.
Reach up, pull over, close. I've actually been thinking about making one and putting on there. I just
Like a
slide the
hobby
brick,
for it.
the
I
brick.
haven't found a door design that I like well enough to put on there because there's so much degradation when you move it back and forth that I worry that the wool will be exposed, and then I hate exposed wool. So the bricks have been my go-to for now until I figure something else out.
Well, I was just thinking about building one and leave it the way your front is, and putting
Mhm.
brick in the door, and that just bumps up to it just a little
Yeah,
bit, just kind of hold it in there. Other than that, I'm just getting I get when it get going, those bricks get sticky, and I
Yeah,
broke a couple trying to slide them out of the way. So
yeah. We've we've brainstormed a bunch of different ideas, but haven't landed on anything yet.
I just thought
Uh,
something. Just grab it, you grab it, and it just swings out, swings back. It's simple. At least I don't know. I'm not the experts on this. I'm still learning the forge, though. I'm going from a coke forge to a ribbon burner propane forge. It's been interesting. One thing I have noticed though is the texture, the feel of the steel and the look of the steel is different than when I use a coke forge.
yeah.
you're not picking up much. You're not picking up extra carbon.
Well, you're not picking up sulfur or anything
Yeah, that too.
for sure.
I'm running I've got a couple tons left of the it's 91% carbon Coke
Mhm.
and not that fun stuff. So no shit.
Well, then you can actually leave your steel in the fire in the propane forge and walk away with it, and then it comes back and it's still steel.
He
Yeah.
said he overheated his forge the other day, so maybe not.
I got it up to over according to the gun. It was little. I want to say like 725, or it might have been a little higher than that. So
That's maybe turn it down
What?
just a little bit.
I had the gas was down just almost off.
Oh wow.
Wait, you had it up to how hot?
A little over 2,700 degrees.
Okay, you said 725. I'm like, there is no way that
Oh,
was
well, sorry.
7,250 degrees. I was concerned.
No. About a little over, I think like 27, 25,
Yeah.
2,700. Yeah, I mean, it
Yep,
was
I
up
know
there.
it'll do that because Tobin melted a chunk of steel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
He glazed a brick in there.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
completely glazed a brick to the bottom of the forge with one of the Venturi burners I make.
nice.
Yeah, I was kind of amazed myself.
A little impressed.
The
It-
big red barn we made, when we
This is
test
our
fired it,
squirrel
we were
foot
running that thing
limits.
at 2,500.
Yeah, yeah, the big red barn was insane.
Nice. My dad hasn't used his yet. He's still skeptical about it. It's like, well, yeah. The best part is you don't burn your steel. One thing I'm so used to looking for that sparkle. Getting where it's just starting to sparkle with a coke
Yeah,
forge. You don't have to worry about that the propane forge. It's throwing me off a little bit. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I've had to relearn how to forge using a propane forge. So,
And I'm ADHD, and I used cold coke
well,
hard fuel forges for a long time, and I I might say too many words and just pull out a sparkling chunk of melted steel.
same.
I got a lot of respect for guys that use the coal and coke forges, the hard fuel, because I cannot I am
Step
way
into
too
view.
paranoid. I try and work it too cold. Oh, sorry. Like, yeah, I like to. I either try and work it too cold because I don't want to leave it in there too long, or I leave it in there too long and then I'm working the steel off again.
Yeah.
And
It's
I've been forging on a solid fuel coal or coke since I was about 4 years old. So transitioning over to it has been a learning experience. Trying to figure out where to run that, how to get going. Um, I've had put a little bit more refractory cement on spots where the wool got exposed
yeah.
afterwards. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if it's inevitable, eventually you're going to ding the side of it with the tongs or your workpiece or whatever. For some reason, at 2 o'clock, there's always, the opening of the forge door at 2 o'clock, there's always a chunk of the refractory missing off of it.
and that's where mine is missing right now. Um, and I mean, it's been a great forge. Like I said, it's a whole new learning experience for me.
Yeah.
Um, and how I know it's at Forge Well Challenge because I used to get it where it just barely started sparking, and that's the kind of sign of watching the colors in a coat forge. But now I look for, as I say on the show, if that steel's smoking all the way across, it's ready to go,
Oh, yeah.
and that's where I've been going for it. I go about 3 to 4 billets and I shut her down because I started getting a pool of melted borax at the bottom. Things are getting sticky, so I just shut it off so I can scrape that out later.
We
Um,
always put a hard brick in the bottom of it and use it as a sacrificial floor. The important thing, though, is to remember to take that brick out while it's still at forge temperature, or you're not taking that brick out.
well, I actually put a little bit of every now and then I'll smear up a little extra refractory cement, put that on top of that brick. I might have
Yeah.
done
Yeah,
a little too much because it's now I got this little trough where it went from the refractory cement down. It ain't gonna hurt nothing,
right.
but
That's why I use the hard brick down at the bottom of as the floor,
That's what
is
she
because
said.
it's replaceable. You get too much flux built up on it. You drop something in there. It's replaceable. You can pull it out, flip it over, or put a new one on.
Yeah.
Nice. And like I said, you guys do, like you said, you got this corporation of Texas Forges, the Blade Bar, and all that extra stuff. And of course, she's the running of the whole show. So
Oh yeah. She's all of the alphabet soup.
that's what she told me. She says, "Well, if you want to schedule it, you got to go through me." It's like, "Yes, ma'am."
Yeah, yeah.
We-
If you got numbers in your mouth that are not heat treats or temperatures or alloys or something like that, you're in the wrong department. That's
See,
yeah.
all the marketing, all the social media, all of the web stuff, all of the pricing, the scheduling, and then I do make knives too. Just they're fewer and further between because I am busy with all of the other stuff.
The lady of many talents.
Yeah, I'm the behind the anvil here.
There you go. There you go. I like that. Roll that in.
Behind it, I am the one doing all of the things, making it possible for him to stand by the anvil.
Are you guys heading up to the Oklahoma show?
Yeah,
Yes.
Awesome. And that's
I think
February.
Johnathan and I will be anyway.
Say
Yeah, I'll
again?
be at the volleyball tournament that weekend.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I was kind of hoping to maybe just roll out there for the weekend, but unfortunately, funds right now are a little tight. Um, but we'll get back out there hopefully next year. Um, I've heard a rumor. I need to reach out to Cowboy and Eileen. I heard that Texas Select is not going to be going on much longer.
Yeah.
Well, they're not doing it this year. I know that for sure.
That I knew, but I heard, like I said, wonder if you guys heard that. I need to just text her. I don't want to bug them very often. I know they're busy.
I would get with them and confirm because I don't even pretend to know.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't
sure.
either.
I've
So
heard the same thing you have, and I think it's because the shop, the new business is taking a lot of
they
time.
are busy, and which is awesome. I'm sitting there watching their videos and everything else. It's like
I
Oh, yeah.
love it.
it's awesome. It's like
Cowboy's a lot more comfortable in front of the camera than I am.
same.
But I still make them do videos.
I force myself to do videos, and people's like, "Oh, you need to plan those out. You need to script them out." I was like, I don't function that way. Every one of you seeing the reels at me in there, it's just something I've got thinking like, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and about 30 takes later, I get to all the way through it, not going deep, 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 deep. And
I
so
never realized how often these two say the word
Mhm.
until I started doing closed captions on our videos and having to go through and edit the closed caption. Oh my goodness.
Well, and being
Might as well be their middle name.
ADHD, the squirrel's running too fast for your mouth to keep up.
I can attest.
Well,
Uh,
then you asked us you ask us a question, and then we forget every piece of information we ever learned about
Right.
what you asked us anyway.
I've
and then we
noticed.
go
Like
back to
when
working
somebody
what you're
asks, "What's
doing,
your favorite song?" You suddenly never heard music before.
right? Yeah, everyone's like, "What kind of favorite song?" Yeah, I was like, "I don't really have a favorite song." What? What's wrong with you? Like, I like a lot of things. It just depends on my mood, what I want to listen to.
Yeah.
Lately, it's been I've been listening to a lot of Jelly Roll,
I
and
love Jelly Roll.
oh yeah,
Right.
ah, I need to get on his weight loss plan because damn, he looks good. I
Me
just
too.
I just watching a video this morning, to an older video. I'm like, he's lost a lot of weight.
Mhm.
He's got that people with money weight loss program
Yeah.
going on.
That is the nice part of it. But he definitely needed it.
Oh yeah,
He definitely put in the work.
yeah, he did.
I don't know. I think being I'm a little chunky. I think I'd just be lazy and make knives.
Yeah. Well, at one point, I got down to like right at 200 and realized I was getting too small to do my job.
He uses his belly as a tool rest. And
Sometimes I
so
hold down.
yeah, and so suddenly he was like, I don't have something to lean against.
Yeah.
Guilty. Um, so what are you guys working on? What do you see for the future for you guys? And where are you going? I mean, you got your show in what month again?
October generally.
October generally. Okay. I was going to say
We've
November, but
got
that's
more designs coming out with
I've
concept
got
on folding knives for the
six,
production line.
I've got 6 designs with concept and tenable in prototyping queue.
It should be out within the next year.
Yeah.
Um,
Because they are busy right now.
we haven't publicly announced it, but I will say that things are kind of up in the air for the October show. Still working on some logistics before making any official announcements on that.
all right. Well, we'll definitely look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah.
Got a couple of upgrades going in the works for Texas Forges.
Yeah.
And a couple of different options going.
Sweet.
Doing the R and
You
D
mean
on it now.
doing a door?
Uh, we've been thinking a lot about doors.
Been looking at a couple of different design changes to allow a door.
Yeah, I just like I said, I take those ears down and just have something I can just go boom, boom
Yeah.
out. That's just it buds up again. See, I mean, other than that's just what my thinking.
I
Because
got you.
you get those bricks to stick, and next thing you know, you get pissed off, and one goes that way, and it goes in a million pieces.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at a French door setup.
Yeah.
With the hole cut out at the bottom of it, so you can still have a hold down stick, and they'll just you just bring them out to the side.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of weight off the hinges by
Yes.
dividing the door in two.
I like that.
I just got to figure out a good way to prevent metal fatigue.
Right.
Go thicker,
Huh?
a little thicker on the steel, I guess, on the face. So
Yeah.
that they
Well, or make the hinges mount to the face and the side.
Yeah.
We've been messing with a lot of ideas on that.
cool. I will be your experimental buddy. If you want to send stuff out here and tell me how to hook them up, I will glad to test.
We have 3 beta tester bodies that rotate as the house forge.
Yeah.
Well,
They'll get add-ons and
Yeah.
then see if that works, and then the one will go and get a different thing. And
Sweet.
Yeah. But I've been running Texas Forges ribbon burners since
2018,
18.
2019, 2018. I think it was the end of 2018.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely liking it. I'm trying to get Dad to switch over to it. I got him to switch over to a little small Devil's Forge to do his blade forging out instead of using the Coke Forge because,
Tell me you put some refractory over that kale wool.
yep, that's the first thing we did was paint that when I first got it in for him. So
Kale wool ain't asbestos, but it still ain't good.
no,
now, if he doesn't want to go full ribbon burner, I do have a single burner Venturi runs about 10 inches long and got a 6-inch opening in it.
Yeah.
I make it for the farrier crowd.
nice.
Stocks those at his shop.
Yeah,
too.
cowboy stocks those in his shop.
And Jess also does forge building classes because if you're going to want to forge, you're probably a do-it-yourself kind of guy anyway. And if it pays to help to know how to service, maintain, scale, or build your own.
Do you have any videos on YouTube of that? Of like people can go look up and
Of the process of building it, no, we have a
more of
video
your
on how
I
to
should say
fire
more
it
of your
up.
maintenance of it and everything else, the proper way to maintenance and everything else.
We can work on some of that.
I need to be a lot more active in social media and use it as a tool instead of just entertainment.
Yeah.
But my social media director hasn't forced me to do anything.
Oopsies. I'll be working on that.
We've had to do a couple of forge lighting videos because we get a lot of people that are transitioning from a Venturi to a ribbon burner, and they've still got Venturi lighting mentality, and it doesn't work with a ribbon burner because you're working with half the gas, and people get a little spooked when you start getting
I get a
three
lot of
big
reports of
fireballs.
fireballs from new users.
So
Yeah,
far, I
don't fire
haven't
without
done
fan.
that yet.
You fan first,
Yep.
gas second.
Yep.
Yep. Plus, I usually wad up a piece of newspaper, throw in there, and let it get going real good, and then slowly reach over there and go, fan, gas, goes. So
Yep.
far, I
Well,
haven't blown the brick off yet.
if if it will
Yay.
if it will idle smoothly, I've yet to get one of our forges to idle lower than 1700 degrees, and just a tiny, like, barely move the needle valve, and you're right in the 1900 to 2000 degree range to right in the middle of the forge band.
The one thing I did notice when I first did it, was playing with it, like it's like this thing doesn't look like it's running right. And I shut it all down after playing with it for a little bit, and I got looking up there. Uh, Double check, make sure all your little holes are clean.
Oh yeah, dirt jobbers love those holes.
When you first got it,
Oh, they were refractory cement closed.
Yeah.
that got I
He
I
forgot.
I get into a hurry, and then I got to go. I got a list of stuff I got to go back and do
The checklist.
the checklist, and sometimes I look at the checklist, and sometimes I don't.
Well, better, considering when I got it there at Texas Select last year, and you just literally barely finished it. It was still drying when I got it from you, so we can wiggle away for that because it's like I message you, hey, I need a couple of them. Like, oh, I gotta hurry and finish this other one then. So,
Yeah, I got a couple of duplex nails that sit on my workbench, and I take a duplex nail and try and run it up in.
Test probe every hole.
As soon as I get done putting refractory in, I usually try and clean them out that point. But sometimes I got nine different things in my head, and the thing in my hand isn't doing the right thing.
that's what she said.
Ah,
So let's spin it back to knives now. What is one of your go-to favorite kind of knives to make that, you're tired of your other stuff, and this one right here, it's just like, for me, it's like the blacksmith knives that I've been making. Of course, he didn't have to run away. Rude.
I think he's
I
going to
think
get an
he's going back there
example.
to get. Jess likes what I call cartoon knives.
Ooh, there we go.
Tilt it up a little. There you go.
Just she's leaning forward like, please don't cut me.
Well, it's not sharp yet. It doesn't have a sheath.
I've cut myself on worse, dull, unsharpened, heat treated blades. Nice. I like. So, like I said, for me, the blacksmith knife every now and then is just a. This is nice to make, other than the mundane of everyday knife making.
Um, she just did a video asking me what my favorite knife to make was, and being born and raised in Texas, of course, it's a big ass Bowie, but that you can take that in a million different directions. I've made buoys that the blade was more serpentine, like an E-net or a falcata, or done. There's a million directions you can take, because when it comes to the buoy, we know two things for sure, and that's it. There was a dude, his name was Jim Bowie, and he had a big ass knife. All the rest of it might possibly be fabrication by dime novel guys.
Um, Still an awesome blade, though. I think the original buoy's on display somewhere in Texas, ain't it?
Nope,
Nope.
it
Okay.
was never found.
There's a lot of guys claim to have the original Bowie, but it's never been proven to be the one.
Yeah,
And it would be cool to find that. But still, I mean, the buoy is still pretty damn cool, though.
yeah.
There's all sorts of different takes and such on that. Um,
Mhm.
there's all sorts of different takes and such on that. Um, there's all sorts of different takes and such on that. Um, there's all sorts of different takes and such on that. Um, there's all sorts of different takes and such on that. Um, there's all sorts of different takes and such on that. I had a thought there, and then of course gone that way. So tell us a little bit more about yourself. Dive into a story or whatever, something that you've had on an interview that you wanted to get out. Of course, I'm putting him on the spot.
I don't know.
You don't know anything about yourself.
Yeah, I suddenly
I
don't
guess
even
I'd
know.
ask the wife, the boss.
Do what?
I said, I guess I should be asking the boss there.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I don't know. I think it's been really cool for me to get to see and learn the process of knife making through our business and learning from him. But it's really cool to see the classes and everything and how that kind of shapes. I don't know that it necessarily shapes his craftsmanship, but it changed up how he goes about some of his knife making whenever he started regularly having to explain
Yeah.
all the different parts of the process.
It makes you a lot more conscious of what you're doing when you have, because you do a thing for so long, you kind of get in an autopilot
Yep.
state where you're not really examining what you're doing, you're just doing the thing. When you're trying to teach somebody else, you have to engage an earlier part of your brain where you learned it, had to figure out how to verbalize it to be able to teach it to somebody else, which re-engages the learning part of your brain and allows you to more
I think you're
be
more
able to
open to
change.
learning and
Yeah.
changing things
Yeah.
because you've engaged that portion
Right.
of your brain
Yeah, what she
into
said.
a learning process of there is more to it than just what I've been doing. And you get people that have questions that'll make you kind of second guess some things or maybe think of a different way or something. And so you adapt along the way. And it's been really cool seeing him kind of dive into what seemed like compulsory moves in the making process and kind of I feel like you've fine-tuned
Yeah.
a lot of your process more since you've had to teach it than you did prior to because
Right.
When
you
start,
just knew the thing and you did the thing.
you start thinking about what you're doing while you're talking about what you're doing, and then
Right.
and then you think about ways to make something better while you're talking about it. And it's like, man, I've been doing this the hard way. And it wasn't until I started talking about what I was doing that I was doing it the hard way, and now I got a better way.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
I've there's like when I explain people, I have the same issue. I've done it so much myself that it's just most mountain me. Now I teach basically the way taught. I try to do a couple of using some bevel jigs and guides. I'm gonna have to go take a class for somebody else that teaches using those classes because I don't know how to use a bevel jig. I try to show my daughter and everything else. I'm like watch videos like I have no clue. Okay, we're just gonna go back the old school way. You're gonna build the knife the way I built it.
I
Friend,
made I made two bevel jigs because I had two surgeons that signed up to do a knife making class, bolted wide awake, middle of the night, realized their hands are worth way too much to be that close to a 36 grit belt. Ran up to the shop, made two bevel jigs, test drove them so I could figure out how to tell them how to use them. The knives turned out beautiful.
nice.
No,
Well,
And no injuries.
no injuries.
I
One
definitely
of
I
one of
definitely
them was
need
a
to.
vascular surgeon, one of them was a trauma surgeon. The trauma surgeon has been back for another class.
Very nice. And I had the same conversation when I did an interview with Cowboy, and he was telling us like, if you're gonna work here or you're gonna actually gonna make knives, you want to go to make knives, you're gonna do it the old school, the way we were all taught. If you're just a
Right.
hobby guy that wants to come and say he bragging about making a knife, we're going to do it this way. And I'm like, I need to go take one of those classes because that jig is sitting on the shelf. I have no idea how to run it. I've watched a couple of videos, but it's just there's something different between most of the time I can watch a video and articulate it and do it. Not with the bevel jig. I am apparently very special, not just because my mommy said so on that part.
Well, and Johnathan teaches it's a different class every
Different
time.
class depending on the student.
There's like kind of a standard outline, but if it's somebody who's just coming for the experience, they just want to make something, walk away with something cool, they don't care about any of the logistics, then bam, it's a very simplified version. If they really like the science portion of it, or if they want to continue this as a hobby, like every single person based on their interest level gets a different version and a different level of information in their class.
And
Because I
that's
have been known to info dump.
same. And then you ever get that look on their face like, search their
Yeah,
credit,
they're like,
what? What?
you,
What? What? What?
and
What?
I
What?
have a problem that I I don't. Sometimes people think I'm talking down to them, but I just assume if I know it, it should be easy for you to understand. So I start talking to people like they should be able to understand it, and they get the deer in the headlights things, and I realize, oh yeah, well, there was a lot of other stuff I had to learn before this made sense.
Yeah, you know the just because you know about steel doesn't know you may know about all the chemical levels of the steel, or why those chemicals are in the steel, or why those chemicals are not another chemical, or how to treat that steel. That's where Johnathan turns people into the deer in the headlights, is because he tells you all of that stuff when you ask what the best steel to use is.
My favorite is whenever a man comes into the shop and starts asking me questions about the steel because they think that I'm gonna give them the deer in the headlights look. And instead, I start educating them on the molecular compounds of the steel. And then they get the deer in the headlights look. And that's
I
a
think
lot
it's
of
pretty
fun.
And I probably ought to brush up on it when we get talking about heat treating and um, why is it this way? It says, well, I'm going to tell you honestly, I kind of forgot about it. I probably ought to look it up. It's because Jupiter's here this way and the magnetism doesn't work. Um,
Ask Larry.
That's
there we
clear.
go. Bring that up a little closer. We can look at that again.
And he's got another version out now.
Now we've got
Ooh.
to get the second edition of it because
Oh,
it has an index in it now.
nice. Where do we get that at? Where's that available?
I pulled that one off of Amazon.
All right. Cool.
Or you might be able to order it off the Knife Steel Nerds website.
Yeah, I haven't looked for it anywhere else.
I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I mean, I've had the critique and such. The forging part, I'll stop. Any questions? This is what we're going to do here. Now, I forged my bevels, a lot of my bevels in. We'll use my trip hammer, kind of bring them out. That way, they're not working themselves to death. I run the hammer pretty much the clutch and everything. They kind of hold on the tongs so they can. The reason why I do that so they can watch what the dies are doing, and then pick up the mummer mystery that way, and just kind of how. Because if you're trying to do it all at once, and I've let people try to do it, they try to watch the steel and watch what they're doing, moving, and everything else, and well, as you know, you probably had stuff go everywhere. So,
When I do a bladesmithing class, I do it like a master apprentice or a smith and striker style, where I'm holding the tongs and it's I hit it, you hit it, try to hit it where I hit it. If we need to make corrections, we'll do that on the way. Because anybody that's actually just going to get started, not going to have a trip hammer, not going to have a treadle hammer, not going to have a press, gonna have to do everything with a hammer.
Well,
A good hammer technique sets you up for a better understanding especially in the beginning.
we like to hold on to the steel just because most people don't know how to hold the tongs and keep them stable enough to use them, and they'll fling steel at themselves, much less us.
That's
So
that's what I do as well. I usually, when like I said, when we should use trip hammer to bring it down to certain points to help for time wise, especially if I got a large group. Um, some people will just sit there and watch, and I'll kind of explain to it. And like you said, you had to you're so used to doing it, you got to stop for a second and pause in your head and walk through the center and try to figure out how to explain it and not sound dumb because you do it. Repetition is muscle memory for us, but that's one thing I've had to learn about communicating this part. This is why we do this part and this part. From the using the trip hammer, save the shoulder. Once we do that, and then we go over and then we fine tune that edge out. I show them how to move the steel. You hit the hammer, you hit the steel, kind of rock it, kind of slide out, so you can draw that out more. Now that's my way of doing it, and so far I haven't had any complaints. I hope that I know of.
our old smithy, we had a vent hood above the forge from the coal forge, and we would draw up on the vent hood what we were doing, and what with chalk we could kind of explain if you hit it here, it's going to move here and here, and you can draw lines and do all the stuff.
It's easier to explain stuff with pictures.
Yes, we
You have
keep
to put a
threatening.
blackboard out there.
We keep threatening to put a whiteboard up on the wall so we can go back to drawing pictures again. And it's been a year and we haven't done it.
I have the blackboard vinyl to where you could put it on top of anything and put it out there as a blackboard.
See,
And
we need to go back to show and tell pictures.
I've done a little bit of that, and I don't draw very well. And
well, and before you were doing it on the Savannah hood, you were drawing in the sand on the ground.
Yeah. I've been known to draw pictures in the dirt with a stick.
Yeah, you don't. I rarely ever draw the pictures because I have an art school major that makes my drawings look bad. So I usually don't do the drawings myself.
Me either.
Same.
And I always feel like when I start with the chalk and stuff, I look like a mad scientist or something.
You probably
I kind of get a little bug-eyed. And
I believe it.
It's so cool to talk to other makers on how they do their classes. A lot of times, if it's one-on-one, I'll make a knife. I'll go first and show them. If it's two-on-one, a little bit, again, I try to keep it not drawn out so much. When the forging is such, I'll build a blade, show them how I do it, kind of explain it, and then I'll walk it through them. I've had a couple of people take it to it like ducks to water. But like you said, it's so cool to listen how your guys' process, how I do it, how Cowboy does his, and a few other guys do their classes. Um, there really isn't, I guess, not really a wrong way. It's just how we just do it, I guess. But the one thing I'd like to do is, like I said, start learning how to run that bevel jig because Daisy's a little apprehensive about getting on there, and she tried. I was like, well, here's a piece of steel. Get on it, well, and just try it. And about 20 minutes, I hear it go flying across the shop. Screw this! I'm doing it the old way, the way I was taught. So
I've looked at a couple to purchase that you can adjust the angle and all that on the jig, and I'll show what I want to get to Johnathan. He's like, no, that won't work because this and this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I spent hours looking for the one I actually thought we would like. Okay, fine, screw you, man.
well, I kind of, in my defense, my dumb defense, I did buy one off Amazon because it was $15 and money was kind of tight at the time too. So, um, yeah, I got a lot of learning. I mean, like I said, like we said earlier, we're always constantly learning on our how do we do our classes. Like you said, Jonathan, you gotta kind of stop in your head like you're explaining stuff and you look at them, they got the what are you looking at? Overload look on their face. You're like, oh yeah, I gotta back up a little bit. But yes, definitely teaching has made me slow down and think, hey, this is how the process goes. Um, and then trying to explain because we already got the bevels in, we're just cleaning them up. We want to grind from the edge back. That's a fun one. What kind of experience with that when you're doing it the old school, not doing a jig, but by hand?
Um, when I hammer in the bevels, I try to hammer the bevel in down to about a 16th and almost have it like 3/4 height. So when I tell them to go to the grinder, I tell them to come in from the edge and lay the bevel flat against the belt. And somebody just starting's idea of a low angle is not a low angle. And it's hard to get people comfortable with being as close to the belt as you have to be, because if you're grinding out here, you got zero stability.
Mhm.
You need to be locked in here to grind and be able to look down the belt.
And
You know,
and
stuff like that.
and when I'm correcting things, what's really funny is they'll be standing like right out here, and I'm like, and it's like when I was a kid, I can remember, standing back looking, and Dad'd be like, "Get in here where you can see." I'm like, I'm doing that. I'm like, oh, I'm turned into my dad now.
Right.
They're
But
like, what do you mean? I
sometimes
says,
that's
get
not
over
such a
here.
bad thing.
Say again.
Sometimes that's not such a bad thing.
No.
Sometimes you
Um,
have to be told you're not holding the flashlight right.
Yeah.
right. We need more of that today. More holding the flashlight and teaching those life lessons. Uh, but
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's really cool to hear your style on knife making. I've had a few people that absolutely just love the forging, participated well, got into the grinding. They did a little help with the profiling. We straightened the blade out. Um, they did not want to do the grinding. It's like, can we just watch? We don't trust
Yeah.
ourselves, and that's fine. I says,
And
if you
that's
don't,
fine.
and that's one thing it taught me. Is like, hey, it started to help me read people better. And it's like, I'll tell them, it's all right. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go from this step, then we're gonna go this step. Don't worry about what's after that. Let's concentrate on these two steps. But if you don't feel
Right.
comfortable doing this, I'll be glad to do it, and I'll describe it to you. And a couple people are like, all right, we'll try it. Da, da, da. Get on there, and they wobble back and forth. And I'm sitting there like, I remember what it was like when I was a kid, and wobble back and forth. And I said, remember, we've got our bevel in. Yes, there might be some high points from the hammer marks, but our bevel is initially there. We just got to clean it off and
Right.
try to drag that grind from the edge back. Because I like to leave much material on the spine on my knives than than the edge. Man, I got a heartburn going on here. Excuse me. Let me drink some water. Um, but it's kind of funny. I mean, there's people that I kind of explain to them. Um, I just kind of just sit back and watch. There's guys that just come in and just they've never done it, but um, a couple welders guys come in and they just was able to do it really damn good. Very
Yeah.
little cleanup. And I'm sure you get the same thing, like, oh, they made an ubu. It's like, all right, I'm going to show you how to, and try to describe how to fix this correctly. And I come in and go make a little quick move, and they're like, wow, you did that so well. You've been doing this well. My joke is, first week.
Yeah.
So what's some of the stories that you've had out of your shop? I mean, you got your surgeon, and is there a class that's ever stood out? Just happily, just a great time, lots of jokes and everything else that you can recall?
A lot of them. I haven't really had any bad classes.
The girl with the homeschool group.
Oh yeah, we do a lot of homeschool group class. Oh, it's a thing I was going to say earlier. You're talking about concentrating on the step we're on right now. We do a lot of homeschool workshops, and in those we get a lot of unmedicated ADHD kids, a lot of kids with a bit of the autism, and I have to rein them into the little thing that we're doing right now, because I know as an ADHD kid, if I know what's next, that's what I'm thinking of, not what we're doing right now. So if it made me more aware of myself in a way to be able to help them better.
I've found that
And
myself too when people ask questions like we're trying to go. I'm like, I put my hand up, says, nope, we're not going to go there. We'll get there. We're right here. Not only
yeah,
for their benefit, but my benefit as well, because when I was a kid back when I was growing up in the early 90s, it was hyperactive, now it's ADHD or whatever. I've got it. And watching the videos over the years through YouTube of people that explain their symptoms and everything else, I'm like, I'm learning myself stuff about myself I didn't realize. And
oh yeah, sometimes you'll hear something, you'll be like, oh, so that's not just because I was a little a-hole.
right?
There's
Um,
actually there's actually a reason behind it.
do you know how to mess up somebody working on their bench? You know how to mess them up for 20, 30 minutes?
Go ahead.
Go move one tool they use a lot, don't realize they use it. Move it 6 inches.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I could have back all of the time I spend walking around like this, it was just in my hand 3 seconds ago.
He used to. I would come and work at nights and on the weekend. Back when I had a day job, and I worked all the way out in Kilgore.
Like an hour and a half away.
Yeah,
Well, this,
and he would call me up during the day and ask me where something is. And the further away I was for distance wise,
Yeah. The more accurate he was.
the more accurate I was. Because it's the curse of the flat surface. If you set the same thing on the same flat surface all the time, then you kind of remember. One of you will remember where you picked it up from.
Right.
So that if we can't find something, the first thing we'll do is ask the other person where we put it.
Yeah.
We've got a 75% chance of finding it there.
Yeah.
the
Or have
rule,
known that he had it.
I have a standing rule in my shop when I do classes or anybody else that's working in my shop or helping out in my shop. This is my bench. There's tools and stuff on there. It's pretty. Don't touch. I already have enough time to screw myself up. Sam, he just picked up and used a hammer and just set it opposite the side of my vise. I spent 30 minutes looking for it. But the rule is, my area, don't touch. I had a
Son
back.
went and cleaned off his desk, and we're looking for all the stuff he put away.
Yeah, I don't clean my benches anymore. If I clean my benches, unless it gets really dusty, I'll move stuff, vacuum, move it back,
Yeah.
vacuum under this. Um,
Well, yesterday I said, let's not put this in a safe place.
The silicone cups.
Yeah. Silicone mixing cups for the epoxy. Had to consciously not put them in a safe place so we wouldn't lose them.
how long did it take to find them?
They're sitting in the box of rags.
I used them yesterday, so I found them.
Ah, and that's
Had
been
we,
how long?
had we put them in a safe place so they didn't get lost,
Wouldn't have known where they were.
we'd never see them again.
They'd be gone for months.
I tried that. I'll put this right here. I'll know where this is. Six
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
later, I
Oh, no,
finally
that's a
find
lie
it.
we all tell ourselves.
It's got to be in your way when you're looking for it.
And it's like the other day, I had a little punch, and I set it right here in the back of my vise on the little anvil part, and I walked around my shop on my bench, looked on the floor for probably 15, 20 minutes. Finally gave up. Went and got another tool. Come back, it had rolled off the anvil and sitting on the arm that slides in and out, just sitting right there, just enough. Yeah.
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 That's the shop fairy messing with you.
Yeah.
All the gremlins, all they are absolutely true because I know I've set a tool down right here, literally turn over here and look back and it was gone.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm also a guitarist, so pit gremlins followed me into the shop. If you're playing guitar and you drop a pick, it never touches the ground because a pit gremlin gets it before it hits the carpet.
how's that even possible?
Don't know.
Oh,
I-
And it's
I have been standing in the middle of an empty stage, dropped a pick, and it never hit the ground. Just disappeared. Same thing happens to tools, like the punch, this the punch that I use for snaps.
Make sure you put it back.
Punch all the time. If I don't have it right here next to the marble slab on my desk, it might as well be in another universe.
Shuts you down. Um,
Yeah.
One of my biggest things, I'll walk in, I'll walk into part of the shop and I had my focus on something and I walk in there and then you look up, something catches your eye and then you're like, what am I doing in here? I needed something, but
It's the
Doorways.
doorway. Don't
Doorway.
go through the doorway and thinking about something. It's gone. Especially if
oh,
you have to open the door.
I'm so
You
glad
have to
I
go back through the door that you forgot the thing in.
Or have you ever went and got it in your hand, go back in, turn around, wait a second, I forgot to go grab that, and you're looking around and it's right there.
Oh yeah.
Or I forget why it's in my hand and why I went to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you put it in your shirt pocket thinking,
And can't find it.
and then because you got to grab a few things, so you put something in your shirt pocket, and then you forget it's in your shirt pocket because you had to grab stuff, and then you go back looking for that particular thing, and it's nowhere to be found until you take your shirt off when you get home.
I did that with a credit card once. Called, canceled, ordered the new one, come home, was cleaning. It was right there on the floor.
Whoops.
I've found that in the bladesmithing community, almost all of us are ADHD.
I am learning this. I'm learning this.
I think it is a correlation between ADHD and smithing. Because most of your stock removal guys will have a touch of the chisel or a crossover.
And
Yeah,
there's, I like to tease people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with stock removal. I always thought, I'm always like, no, forged blade's always better because of this and that. And, you know, there's really not. I mean, the only thing that kind of helps is if it's with Damascus is push the pattern will flow
Oh,
with the
yeah.
steel.
Well, the stock removal guys are able to use so many alloys of steel that you cannot forge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I do a lot of stock removal. I mean, the one I carry on me is stock removal because you're not forging CPM 20 CV. It's just not going to happen.
I started doing stock removal on a few things probably about 4 years ago because I started punching some out on a plasma cable
Yeah.
and I felt like a newbie. I thought I could, oh yeah, not a problem. I can grind. Boy, I was wrong. I had to kind of learn how to regrind all over again, from having my bevels in
Yeah.
and not having them in, and not over grinding and not under grinding or angles. It's fun to challenge yourself. And speaking of
Yeah.
that, what is other than classes? What have you guys found? We'll go one by one here. That you found to help challenge yourself to make yourself better. From the starting the business on up, or something that stands out to you. Besides keeping those two in line.
I was gonna say that's a big challenge. They don't always listen well. Um, Marketing and finding the best ways not to reach a high quantity of people, but to focus on the quality and it keying into our ideal customers. Because I don't care if it reached 5,000 people, if five of them were our ideal customer, then I didn't do a good job. If I'm marketing and I'm able to reach 500 people, but 50 of them were our ideal customer. Well, then that's a much better percentage. Uh, there's a large part of the population that either can't afford or doesn't see the value in handmade pricing, or really could just care less if it's handmade versus if it was made in a factory and sold on a Walmart shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And so keying into those artistic people who are going to appreciate the craftsmanship has definitely been one of the most challenging parts for me on my side.
Yeah.
I've had that as well. I used to tell people, well, happy Walmart shopping when they say, well, I go to Walmart. It's like, all right, all in the conversation right there. Happy Walmart shopping. Thanks for your inquiry.
I've given them directions to Walmart before.
Sometimes more polite than other times.
Sometimes.
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall. I'd have loved to seen that. That's awesome. Um, I've
Well,
had a lot of people bring in Pakistani knives to have sharpened, and I'm like,
And convinced that they're great. That's the worst part.
Well, yeah, it's hard to keep your mouth shut and tell them how bad this knife really is. And so sometimes it's just sitting there and you can't say anything other than, okay, come back in an hour, because if you say anything more than that, you're gonna insult them one way or the other.
I'm upfront a little bit. It says I mean, I usually charge $5 a knife for non anything I don't make. I charge for it.
Yeah.
$5 per blade. I look at it. I'm like, I can sharpen this.
But it won't stay that way.
Do you want to just open an account and we'll just start charging your card every time you come in? I'm not trying to be rude. It's just not gonna hold an edge. And they're like, why? Because honestly, I have no idea what that steel is. It looks pretty. Don't get me
but I
wrong.
can tell it's not hard.
It's not. I don't know if they heat treat it at all or just I don't know.
Yeah.
But same question to you, John. What's one of the things that you found challenging that helped you, or you challenge yourself?
Being on for classes and metering responses when stuff like that comes in, like the Pakistani knife that
Yesterday.
is maybe a Rockwell of 30.
If you're
Like, I can sharpen a penny. It's not going to stay sharp, but I can get it sharp. And I'll tell people that they're sharp right now, but don't expect it to stay that way very long. Rather than saying, this is trash, probably made out of a bumper off a Land Rover.
or stop sign or you know or license plate or whatever that is over there. I mean,
Right. Um, or, people come in with gas station knives. Maybe that's all they can afford. Maybe we keep the nice knives at home and they're not going to carry, a 80, 150 to $300, $400 knife in their pocket because they're afraid they'll lose it. I'll sharpen the hell out of some M-Tech knives.
I have had somebody to buy the knife out of my pocket because I insulted their pocket knife that they brought.
that's
I
awesome.
remember that.
My normal everyday carry was like a 3.5-inch drop point Ganzo Firebird, and I showed the guy. I'm like, you don't need to spend a lot of money for an expensive knife, and you can get this off of Amazon for $35. And he says, well, can I just buy that one from you because I don't use Amazon? Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the knife in my pocket because he carried a piece of crap one that he paid $50 for that was way worse.
And I got a lot of people like, oh, I don't want to buy a knife. And well, this is what I do with it. Okay, I'll still make you a knife that you could do that. It's going to be a little bit more of a tool than just a knife.
Yeah.
And then I've had people that just spend $200-300, and I've had a gentleman brought one of them dads in, and I don't know how he did it. Um, the point was shoved back into the blade, almost an eighth of an inch. Wasn't busted off, and this knife was used. So this guy didn't. I mean, he okay, and but yeah, it never busted off. It shoved it back into the blade on the
That's
tip.
great. I don't think I understand.
Like curled it back and folded
No,
it
no, no,
over.
no, no. It not curled, not side to side, shoved backwards.
I don't get it.
I think I did a video on it, a picture somewhere on Facebook. It's been a couple years. I cleaned it up for him. Um, every now and then you get the scales, the epoxy, because either they got it wet or they left it in the sun, and I filled it back up, resurfaced it, charged them a
Or
little,
ran it through the dishwasher. Yeah.
or left it in the sink. A gentleman bought a meteorite Damascus chef knife from me. He calls me up. Don't yell at me. What? Don't yell at me. I went out of town and the kids put it in the sink. I'll be over in a little bit. I was like, I looked at it and everything. It says I'm going to have to charge you at least $150 because I had to literally hand sand it all back down, redo the handle and everything on it because the iron it all rusted, but the nickel from the meteorite stayed nice and
Yeah.
shiny. It was kind of cool looking, but yeah, he stayed out in the camp trailer for a couple of days because he was not happy with his kids. So, but yeah, I mean, I had the same interaction as you guys. Is like, how do I explain to them that you want to just flush your $5 down the toilet, or do you want to? I mean, I'll do it for you,
Yeah.
but I get it. There's not everybody can afford a high quality steel. $100 or more. I started making some knives that are about $60 to $70 a piece. Using recycled spring steel and just finding some decent Hannah material. And they've been moving pretty good. But that's what I've been doing mainly because trying to keep the bills and not work for somebody else.
Yeah. The hardest part is being able to decide how low of a price point is worth shooting, because you really come down to a how much am I really willing to screw myself, you know? Um, and we started when I got the models with concept, we started carrying them, and we can't hardly keep them in stock, and they're two to three, well, 165 to 300 on those, and we can't keep them on the shelves. Also got, like I said, six more designs in queue for prototyping, and two of them are going to be on their Tenable brand, which will be around $50 to $75, under $100.
Nice.
But like handmade, how how do you really get much of anything done for under $100 without totally cutting your own throat?
And that's for me, that's why I'm using a lot of this, getting springs that are thin enough and I forge them out. And I can forge out knives pretty quick. I can do damn near 10 an hour when everything's all set up and ready. If I do my prep work right, I can kick them
Yeah,
out pretty good. Um, Sometimes the ADHD kicks in and we don't do prep work and we go out there, but like my blacksmith knives, um, they tend to move. I usually sit down somewhere between on the sides between 50 and 100 for the high carbon, maybe $100 for a Damascus one Right now, I'm doing those little rocking chopper hulu kind of things with a single.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do that. Did one, screwed the handle up completely. Did the next one, was like, oh, that's what it's supposed to be like. So,
You got to screw it up at least once.
right? Or if the
I
first,
learned.
We
have you
don't
ever,
learn by doing anything the right way the first time.
well,
Well,
have you ever done one right the first time and the second one comes, well, what did I just do here? I just did that one great. What?
There are just some days like that. We're brained up brain.
Um, so what, speaking of stuff, let's step back to stock removal. You said you got some, you do stock removal. What stills do you like to stock removal the most?
Um, our standard house steel is 80 CRV2 because it's hard to get a better balance of edge retention and toughness in a forgeable steel that also in a steel that is both suitable for stock removal and forging. Um, I do a lot of chef's knives out of Nitro V because yeah, they're
Virtually.
very, very, very close cousins. Um, both have an extremely high toughness and hold a pretty good edge and are easy to sharpen. Um, both completely superior to the the X50 or whatever it is that most production chef's knives are made out of both in terms of edge retention and toughness. Um, I do occasionally do different alloys like I'll do 154 CM. I'll do um, different stuff like that. But if I'm going to forge, it's almost always 80 CRV2 or W2.
Any
W2
particular
if I
reason
want to
why?
hamon, 80 CRV2 if I don't.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but looks like we're about an hour and a half into it. We'll go a little bit longer. I'm going to open this part to what I call words of wisdom. Or is there anything you wanted to share in an interview that afterwards you had like, oh, I wish I'd have said that, and then invite one of you guys to close with a prayer if you would, and then we'll do our little walkout, and then yeah.
I don't think I heard all that.
Oh, sorry, probably a little bit of the ADHD. Um, let's get ready to wrap this up. Is there anything you want to share for words of wisdom or anything that maybe you had in an interview you wanted to share or a story that you didn't get out there, you've always wanted to? Something like that. And then one of you guys, if you wouldn't mind, I want from both of you. And then one of you guys would close us up with a quick prayer. And then we'll.
I don't know.
Okay. You asked ADHD kids to think of words of wisdom during.
Yeah.
When we're about 10 minutes after we hang up, we're gonna think of what we wanted to say.
Yeah.
Well, we can do that for another one. So write it down.
Yeah, that requires we're taking notes and finding the note later.
I try to tell everybody that I do my best every day to work off of two ideals, to try to be the good that I want to see in the world and try to be the person that I needed when I was younger. And that really encapsulates a lot. As a maker and a teacher, I reassure all of my students that you are a special kind of brilliant if you have figured out a way to screw something up that I haven't already screwed it up. And I can help you figure out how to unscrew it up. And the only reason I'm better at this than you are right now is because I've screwed it up more ways than you have. You've not tried all the ways to screw it up yet.
I tell people, especially when they make a mistake, that you don't learn anything by doing it perfectly. You only learn how to do something better if you've made the mistake and then have to learn how to fix it. So
me and Johnathan still make mistakes all day long, every day. I mean, you don't ask him about how many left-handed sheets he made yesterday. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, but if you make a mistake and then you learn how to fix it, you're actually going to learn more from that experience than you are if you just made it right the first time. You're talking about forging two things in a row. You forged the first one perfectly, and then somehow you screwed the second one up. It's because you were thinking about the second one and how to do it right, and the first one you were just figuring it out.
Yeah.
So life is about mistakes. It's whether or not you're going to learn from them.
And you never really fail if you're trying. But if you don't, the only way to fail is definitely not to try.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
a
I said that
failure
right.
if you call it a failure. If you frame it as a learning opportunity, it's a learning opportunity because every failure is an opportunity to figure something out.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys were ever told this. I was told knife making is 90% screwing it up and 10% trying to figure out how to fix it and do better the next time.
I thought that was just life.
Oh, guess it applies to everything. So,
This-
anything else? Anything? Well, but first of all, kick out all your guys' social again. What you guys got coming up?
The Blade Bar TX on any socials or our .com. Djinn Designs on any of the socials. I don't know what we're not on. I know we're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. What else are we on? Is that it? Okay.
The boss is back.
between Texas and I got Jess Stinson on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I'm trying to do better, getting on there. So
Start over again. You got garbled. It went muffled for a minute, so you're gonna have to start over again, bud.
We had a call come in.
Texas Forges on Facebook and Instagram, and then Jess Stinson on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
All right. Boss, is there anything you want to share? Where's the wisdom or anything new that these guys probably forgot that they're gonna go 20 minutes later down the road? Yeah, I should have said this.
We're grateful to be on here and appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Oh no, thank you, because
I'm excited to be able to cross promote with you and get more people looking at everything, and I appreciate the opportunity.
I hope I haven't drive you guys too much. I guess, like I said, this is a off the cuff 88 squirrel moment. Try to bring myself back in line. And so, but yeah, if you have any thoughts afterwards, write them down. We'll do it the next one. So, and then definitely let me know when what's going to go on with the show and when you guys ready to do your launch of your upcoming stuff that you want, we can jump back on and do another recording.
Sounds great.
Who wants to lead us out with a prayer?
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Your house, you did it.
Our Father in heaven, thank you for letting us join here together and cooperate with blade making industry, family, however you want to say it. Thank you for our blessings and everything else, Lord. Hope this show is good for those that find a way into, hey, it's okay to make mistakes, learn how to make it, and everything else. I say this in your Son's holy name, Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
All right, I'm going to walk this out and just hang on real quick afterwards. As we say in the shop, stay sharp, America, and there's only one King. His name is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Thanks again. Remember, like, share, comment. Let us know what we think. Any other thing else you want to share on your socials real quick?
Djinn Designs on everything, and the Blade Bar TX.
All right.
And Texas Forges.
You can find it all from there.
Awesome. All right.
Or just
and 3, 2,